Rest in peace and remember Kurt Cobain. Wow, it's hard to believe it's been 30 years ago. I remember where I was. I was hanging out with a former coworker of mine. We were actually at a park beach and we were just talking about it, talking about Come As You Are, talking about the Unplugged album actually. I liked his writings. Now, I wasn't going to sit here and act like Nirvana was some band that I was like all blown away with, but I did like his writings. I felt his pain. And he did connect a lot of hip hop acts. A lot of people liked him, you know. I've always said that his transition was very mired in a lot of unfinished, unresolved. I do believe that there was powers that be that took him out. He spoke out. He, you know, in some ways his life was very similar to Pac and Biggie, who passed consequently a few years later, in the sense that he had connected and so quick, so fast over time. I remember when Nevermind came out. The big thing about Nirvana at the time is that they had kept Michael Jackson from the one. That was a big thing. It was like the emergence of the 90s. They were also like a turning point from the glam, pop, rock, white bands that they were grunge in their styling. And they were like bringing in a certain type of element from the Seattle scene. Ironically, some years ago, got a chance to go to the Pop Museum in Seattle and saw the Nirvana display, felt the spirit of it. Really did. You know, they had the Jimi Hendrix part over there too, and I felt that aura too. Sometimes when you go into these places, you can almost feel the aura of the spirit of the person. It's almost like it's there. And obviously, Christian Novacek, the bass player, went on, I think, got into politics. You know about David Grohl with the Foo Fighters and the incredible career he's had post Nirvana. It was a different era though back then though. It was a very different, fresh face, youngsters making their mark and hitting in a way that so few did and still do. That was a whole different era. Thinking about that whole thing. You know, everything smells like Teen Spirit was everything. Other Seattle acts like rest in peace to Chris Cornell. Soundgarden was my favorite. Pearl Jam was bigger and they went on. But Nirvana was the one that opened up, got that door open. Of course, Alice in Chains had a run, but Nirvana was the one that really kicked that door. And Cobain was one of those guys. It's almost like folklore, you know. It's almost like it was like a fleeting moment, a burst, a flame that went up, and it struck a chord. His words, he was very poetic, and he was a strong vocalist, and he definitely left an impression. It's a shame that he didn't get a chance to manifest beyond part of the 27-year-old club. That's some spirits and some very haunting. Music lives on. The box set came out 20 years ago. It was huge. Nirvana has lived on. The spirits and elements of him have lived on. So thoughts and prayers always with his daughter. And, so it's still unresolved as far as I'm concerned. But he will not be forgotten. He was a poet's poet. He sung from the heart. He put himself on display. He spoke out on a lot of things. Racially, sexually. He was a wild, well-rounded young man in his all too brief life. So just taking the time reflection on Kurt Cobain, but I remember very well. Wasn't that long ago. It's funny sometimes because you pop up and you go through certain things and you think, wow, that was only. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another shit if you're liking my piece.